everyone in IH 743, and to all of those of you beyond in the cybersphere and the world of YouTube. I am James Wolfe, and this is an IH 743 Camcast brought to you by IH 743 Making Programs Work, Health Program Implementation in Developing Countries. The subject of our Camcast for today is work planning. Shut your eyes for a minute and fast forward a few years. You're working in a public health organization that's just won a huge project in Malawi. You've been assigned to the new project team. Yesterday, the development office in Boston forwarded you the winning proposal. You'd never seen it before. And as a member of the new team, you have to put together a first-year work plan for USAID in a very few days. What are you going to do? Well, our hope is that this short and sweet Camcast on work planning will be just what you need. In this Camcast, we're going to cover what's in a work plan and how to depict a work plan graphically using a Gantt chart. And at the end, we'll provide a few tips for creating annual work plans. I'm sure that most of you have had prior experience with work planning. We use it for organizing many types of activities, including those of our work and our daily life. We use our work plans to transform our strategies and objectives into concrete activities. Often, we do this on an annual basis. USAID, for instance, requires annual work plans from its cooperating organizations. Organizations, especially large organizations, will require work plans from different departments so that they can plan and budget for the entire organization. Work plans also help staff schedule their work and identify resources that they will need to complete their activities. Because work planning is familiar, before we start, I'd like you to pause the Camcast and write down on a piece of paper or on your computer 3 elements that are always included in a work plan. Then hit the pause button again and continue with the Camcast. If you wrote down activities, responsibilities, and time, you were right on the mark. Your work plan should show what activities must be taken to reach your objectives, who will carry out these activities, when these activities will occur, and what resources, both human and material, you will need to accomplish these activities. Work plans provide a framework for planning and serve as a guide for carrying out the activities of the program during a specified time period. A detailed work plan is essential for both planning and implementing programs. Once you have a work plan, you can create a graphical description of information in the plan using a Gantt chart. Although now regarded as a common charting technique, Gantt charts were considered revolutionary when they were introduced. Having a computer makes Gantt charting extremely easy. You can make your own with Excel, for example, or find and learn how to use many of the powerful desktop applications for program managers and project schedulers. Here's an interesting point of history. The first known Gantt chart was developed in 1896 by Karol Adamicki. He called it a harmonogram. As luck would have it, though, he was a Russian speaker, and he didn't publish in the English literature. So no one really was aware of his discovery. A few years later, Henry Gantt designed his own chart around 1910 and popularized it in the West. He got all the credit, and hence we prepare Gantt charts, not Adamecki charts. You can see in the graphic on this slide that activities are listed on the left, the time scale is depicted across the top, and each line corresponds to an activity. Here's an example of a Gantt chart that's being used as a project implementation tool. The gray bars show the original time estimated for each activity. The original time has been revised based on the reality of implementation, the white bar, and the actual time for implementation of the activity noted by the diagonal hatch. The wavy lines indicate slack time, and the C indicates that the activity has been completed. A Gantt chart used in this way becomes a powerful project management tool. So that's it for Gantt charting. I'm going to leave you with a few tips for preparing an annual plan. First, select a team. Second, schedule your meetings, and if you can, schedule them at least 3 months in advance of the delivery date of the work plan. Unfortunately, for the exercise you are going to conduct for IH 743, you'll have only several days to prepare your work plan. Review the current work plan with your team, discuss the current activities and whether they need to be modified, brainstorm new activities and detail each new activity, determine who will be responsible for carrying out each activity, decide what resources will be required, both human and financial, and check that these resources are indeed available to carry out the activities. So let's summarize what we've covered in this Camcast on work planning. And let's talk a little bit about the exercise you're about to undertake. When you prepare your detailed first-year work plan, you will need to read the proposal you're given very carefully. Make sure you understand and are clearly able to articulate the goals and objectives and implementation strategies of the project. These provide the context for the activities that you're going to develop. Your work plan should describe all the activities that must be undertaken in the first year to meet the goals and objectives of your project. The work plan should indicate the activity, when it is scheduled to occur, and who will be responsible for it. It's also helpful to note the resources you will require for each activity, as this information will be useful to you at a later date for preparing your program budget. Be aware and be able to articulate the resource constraints that you may face. Your work plan, of course, should include a graphical representation of your work using a Gantt chart. So that's it. We'll look forward to seeing you in class for more discussion and for a cluster critique of your work plan and Gantt. Take care. See you soon.